Which one should I share with as far as your computers?
Oh, the one that's muted. I'm sorry.
Okay, cool. I think that's this one. Yep,
That's it.
cool. All right, so we're here with Michael. He's about to share his screen, and we're just gonna kind of start talking through things, seeing where he's at, what he's trying to get as far as his career journey. So, why don't you start just telling us a little bit about where you're at with your portfolio? I believe you're a graduate, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
graduated back in February.
Okay, so February, so you've been out for a few months.
hmm
Have you sent your portfolio to anyone? Have you been attempting to get a job yet?
I've applied to a couple jobs already, but I've been rejected a couple times. I know my weak spots. I'm still trying to improve every day, but
Okay.
primarily I'm working on sculpting and art.
Okay. So you said you've been rejected a couple times. Did you get actual formal rejection letters?
Yes.
Okay. And did they have specifics about your work in them, or were they more of a cookie cutter?
Uh, Mostly cookie cutter.
Okay.
I actually spoke to one recruiter, and they explained to me what was off, and that's something I'm still trying to work on.
Okay. So that's actually a good thing. So like, I know it doesn't sound good, but in kind of the hiring scope of things, there's three options if you don't get hired. One is you don't hear anything back, and if you don't hear anything back, it could be one of two things. The first one is sometimes the hiring process is a lot slower than we want it to be, so they may have just not gotten to you yet. Or the other thing is you're really not even close to what they were looking for, and you won't get a response. If you get a cookie cutter response, it's a good thing because they usually at that point like your work, but you just weren't the right candidate, and that can be for several things. Obviously, a better artist could have applied. Your skills might have been weak in one area, but they feel like you're not close enough that they want to take time to develop you. And then if you've received like a more formal, tailored to you rejection letter, then that's usually someone that they want to see again. You know, that yes, you're rejected right now, but they see enough in your work that there's a potential in the future. So it's actually good that you know a recruiter actually talked to you about the things that you needed to work on. Um, so let's kind of go through your portfolio. Just kind of talk me through your pieces. What your thoughts are, why you put the portfolio together the way you did, and then maybe we can talk about what you know your weaknesses are, what the recruiter told you your weaknesses are, and then kind of talk about how we can change that stuff.
Okay. Um, so this current one right here, I've been primarily focused on character art, and mostly I've been like mostly worked with ZBrush and sculpting and things like that. So this one I did, man, about 5 months ago. Yeah, 5 months ago. This was more of just a practice. I wanted to start getting human form right, and I wanted to practice drapery. But looking at it now, it's not that great. But it was one of my first like go at drapery. But I feel the strong parts of the arm over here is sloppy. I think it's really bad over here. Over here is okay, but I definitely want to study drapery more. It's
Mm-hmm.
something I hear from a lot of artists that it's really important to know that anatomy. Those are the two big ones.
Yep.
So yeah, this is more of like a. That was also messing with poly thing, just to get a general idea. This is really early. This is a way earlier work. I was actually doing this for the Blizzard art contest.
Okay.
It was designing like a monster that would be in World of Warcraft. And I actually didn't make the deadline because I was still in school. So I was focusing on my finals while doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually missed the deadline, and I didn't. This is also high res too. That's another problem. So one of my weaknesses is that all of my everything in my portfolio right now is not game ready. That's the only. That's like the biggest drawback. That's my weak spot right now, which I am working on getting better at.
Okay.
My current project right now, I'm actually going to make it game ready. I'm going to go back and make something game ready. I need to start practicing that again.
So all the jobs that you applied for so far are for at game companies.
Not all of them. I've been applying to because I live in New York City.
Okay.
There's only about 2 or 3 game companies in New York City that are see my work and time to even apply to. There are some that have like 5 people, and they want somebody who can do everything, so they don't really want to hire just a character artist. But advertising and commercials are huge. There's Frame Store, the Mill, there's Tilting Point, all these big companies out here, which they do want artists like ZBrush and Maya. So I've been focusing on applying to those companies.
Okay.
I actually spoke to a recruiter at Frame Store briefly, and they're actually looking for a CG intern for the fall. So I'm hoping they give me a call back for that, but we'll see what happens.
Nice.
Yeah, this is also a lot of these are my earlier sculpts. This is back. I was still in school, so I was just practicing. I knew at this point I wanted to do more ZBrush stuff, so I'm focusing on this. This is when I started to. I feel like make a breakthrough. I started to really push at sculpting, and this is actually when I met my friend Raphael. Actually, I've been working with him now about 3-4 times a week, and he really started pushing my work.
Nice.
With critiques and everything. I still speak to him every day just about it. He really helps me push with this. So I did this like 4 months ago. I was still at that level that I didn't want to be. And then when he started actually helping me more, this is another personal work, but when he started helping me more, I started getting real with my work.
Nice. Yeah.
He started helping me a lot, like worrying about like anatomy, line quality, lighting, rendering. I started getting better at what I want to do. So yeah, he actually helped me render these out in Keyshot, because I love these renders. But this is ZBrush right here.
Yeah, it's looking tight.
I want to go back and game ready this actually. So
cool.
Actually today I sent these out to Dom Queck. He's one of the lead artists of Blizzard CG.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I sent it out to him because we have a mutual acquaintance at Blizzard. His name's Aaron. He used to work in McFarlane with him, and he's one of the contacts I speak to at Blizzard, and he gives me a lot of critiques too. And I sent it to him because he actually worked on, the guy Dom worked on this character that I finished recently, and I wanted his like hard critique. I really wanted him to really be critical of it. So another thing, I want to make game ready. This is still very, it's all high dense models right now still. But,
okay.
Yeah,
did
that's all I have.
Did you hear back from him yet?
Not yet. I emailed him today.
Oh, okay.
I spoke to the guy today.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So that's all I have right now.
Okay. Well, I'd say, so you have enough pieces on here that as you start doing more pieces, I would start pulling your weakest ones off. So just because a lot of times when a company will look at your portfolio, if there's some really weak pieces, even if they were like a year or so ago, they may not take the time to actually click into them and inspect them. And that will make them start questioning your better pieces if those were accidental, or could you do this over and over again. So having this many pieces, you actually have a well kind of padded portfolio for just getting done with school. So what I would do is, as you start finishing more pieces, right, and you could even right now say 5 is a good number to have on here, but as you make a new piece, if it's as good as your newest stuff, then take one of your older pieces off, right? And you can obviously keep it for yourself so you can see your growth later on, but it's going to help to keep your portfolio at the highest caliber that it can be. So I'd maybe pull off the Scarecrow kit at the bottom the next time you have a piece done, or the Murloc, or even right now, like I said, having 5 pieces there is pretty good. All the ones up top are most of them are textured. The newer ones are at least rendered really well. So you could actually pull the other 2 off if you wanted. The Murloc, I actually like the shield and the skull and everything on there. So that might be one where you'd want to, even if you decided to take the Murloc off, you could keep the shield, the skull, shoulder pad, and maybe the sword, and bring those into Substance, make them game ready, and show that you can do a couple props on the side as well. Or go back and tighten them up. Those are always options as well if you're really invested in the piece or love the piece. But sometimes that's the hardest thing for us, is to start curating our own work and taking pieces off, and making sure we're not necessarily showing things from when we just got started. because that can lead to companies questioning what you can do and potentially not even reaching out to talk to you about what you can do. So
Right. Yeah, I've been debating. I want to get rid of these two actually. I
okay,
feel like these are
yeah,
the ones. I feel like especially this one. I mean, I definitely my current project right now I'm working on the side. I'm going to be focusing on anatomy and drapery more.
hmm
So I'm hoping to showcase that better than this because right now this is I look at it and I see the mistakes. That's what bothers me.
right, okay. So when you, I mean, I'd agree you could pull that one off. Um, so when you're applying to companies, obviously you're looking local. Are you when you look at the job descriptions, are you aligning your current skill sets? And if you are, do you feel like you're showing those companies in your portfolio that you can do those skill sets?
Yes and no, because I'm noticing a lot of the requirements they want. They want to say, Photoshop, Illustrator, things like that. Like I know those programs, but it's not showcasing in my portfolio right now.
Okay.
Like as of now, I don't have any texture maps for any of these things.
Okay.
Like none of these are game ready.
Right.
So I do know both those programs. I actually started learning on my own. I started learning Marvelous Designer. I started learning Marmoset, but these things aren't being showcased.
Okay.
So the only things that are being shown are ZBrush and Maya right now, because all of these things have been touched in both,
hmm
and now Keyshot too. So these two are Keyshotted. I definitely want to show those more.
Okay. So you said you currently know your weaknesses as far as like drapery and anatomy. Do you have like a list of programs and workflows and things that you're trying to learn?
With drapery, I actually was speaking to another artist about it. He suggested Marvel's Designer is a really strong program. It's really good for drapery and clothing
hmm
for a base for it. But it'd be better to start sculpting it so I can understand how it would work and how the physics of actual drapery would work, rather than letting Marvel's Designer just do it for me.
Right.
So my next model, I'm actually going to sculpt like pants and things like that. I want to see if I can get the drapery down. And with anatomy, I've just been practicing. I've just been doing studies and stuff. And my current character is a human character from Warcraft, actually. So
Okay.
I'm practicing anatomy in that sense.
Okay. But as far as the lists for the companies you're applying at, like the skill sets they're looking for, do you have a formal list that you've made and how you're applying those things to this next character, how you're going to be able to show them off for the company?
Just more of a mental list. I don't really
Okay.
have a formal list for it.
So I would say let's kind of start there then. I think you're off to a good start. Like you're from what you're showing me, you're pretty far along. You're kind of like where Giovanni was at when he was one of the first people that I did this with, and
Mm-hmm.
where you have a fairly solid portfolio. You're getting some replies from places. It's obviously not what you want to hear from them, but at least you're getting some feedback, which is positive. Um, so I think what we need to do is kind of tighten up your thought process of how you're working on pieces and how it fits into the companies you're applying for. So what I would like to do for next week is have you look at the piece that you currently just started, right? And you can show that to us next week. Um, but pick like 5 of the companies that you're trying to apply to or that you've applied to in the past and start making a list of the things that they're looking for that currently you're not showing off in your portfolio, and then make a list of how you're going to integrate either those programs or those workflows into this new piece, and how are you going to show it off on your ArtStation. So when you send your new portfolio out to these companies, they can easily click through here, and when they open it up, you have an exact way that you're showing them. Maybe you're showing things off in Sketchfab or Marmoset. Maybe it's that you're showing off wireframe, or you're showing off the hand painted textures, or whatever that list is you come up with. You need to think of a visual way that you can show these companies, because if they can see it and they approve of the way you did it, you up your chances of hearing back from them, right? Because we're all busy, whether you have an industry job or not right now. So when these guys have to hire someone new, they're going through these portfolios pretty quick, and the quicker you can show a visual story that you're the right person for that job, the better chance you have of them contacting you back.
Right.
So again, I think you're in a pretty good spot. There's a few things we could tighten up, but I think that's probably the best place for us to kind of start. with these meetups this month is that make a formal list. Like I want a formal written out list. You can do it in Word or you can do it in a Google Doc or something like that. But I want you to be able to show me the job description next week for the company.
Okay.
On the list should be the skill set that you're working on, and then how you're going to apply it to your new work with this character, and then how you're going to show it off, when you demo this piece or show off this piece in your art station. So,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Do you have any questions for me about this month, or any questions just in general that you'd like answered?
So far I'm good.
Okay, cool. So we'll just kind of plan on meeting up the same time next week. Unless for some reason if something comes up with either of us, we can just shoot each other a Facebook message and we'll figure out a different time. But as long as this time's good with you, it works for me.
Yeah, usually 6 o'clock works for me. Just my current working situation, my schedule is made week by week.
Okay.
But I normally have a weekday off at some point, so I can let you know by actually tomorrow.
Okay.
So I can let you know.
Perfect. Yeah, just let me know if something changes. If I don't hear back from you, I'll create a meeting, a go-to meeting for this time, and I'll send you the link. So.
Okay.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, have a good evening, and look forward to talking to you next week.
Thank you, yeah.
All right. Take care.
Take care.